Hi, this is Aida Vallejo from University of the Basque Country. Today I'm going to talk about the methodologies I use in my film festival research, and I'm specialized on documentary film festivals, so I am particularly interested in the social networks of mainly professionals and festival organizers that travel through the festival circuit, and the impact of those social networks on, firstly, the documentary film industry as a whole, and secondly, on the film festival circuit, its proliferation, evolution, and organization. So the title of my presentation is From the Field to the Database, Combining Methods in Film Festival Research. I will talk precisely about how to combine different methods, how to get different data from different sources, and above all, how to manage all those data together and how to archive them. So I have been conducting ethnographic fieldwork at several film festivals, doing multi-site ethnography in the works of Marcus. So one of my challenges there was, how do I keep a record of all those social networks, social practices, encounters that I witness in first person during my fieldwork. So for that is where I created the databases I'm going to talk about later on. So in the Film Festivals and Anthropology book, co-edited by Maria Paz Peirano and myself, I wrote an introduction on how to apply ethnographic methodologies to film festival research, and it was like a very brief summary about the tools from ethnography and anthropology that we can apply when studying film festivals. Of course, when we write ethnographies, some of the tools we have to keep record of what we witness is the diary. So, but my challenge was, apart from writing down whatever was happening during the day, during the festival, or apart from writing interviews, was how do I keep record of all that? Because I don't know about you, but I have this problem of collecting as many information as I have, no matter if it comes from different sources and also if it refers to different aspects of film festivals, which can be the programming policies, the social networks, but also historical elements, audience behavior, and so on. So how do we face this challenge of combining these ethnographic methods with data collection? First of all, I want to refer to my research on documentary film festivals. Most of it comes from my doctoral thesis period, when I was traveling the Eastern European documentary film festival circuit mostly. And I have gone on with this research until the recent publication of some of its outputs with the Documentary Film Festivals Volume 1 and Volume 2. So in these studies and in these research projects, it was very important to collect as much data as possible. Here you can see how I design access a very old style database. I had to build it myself, and I was not an expert, so as you see there are several problems with it, but it did work in the sense that I could collect all the information about all the editions of the festivals, also about all the people participating in the festival itself or in the films that were presented there. And with that, I was, this of course was through many years. I was encountering different places, different programs, and I was collecting all the information from different sources, not only ethnography of course, but mostly, and this is important, also from the archives, from the programs, and so on. So I was putting it in this database with the idea of someday taking out all my conclusions from it. What's the problem? Of course, the data is much more than whatever output we can get out of it. And apart from that, we have the problems with the software evolution and how to adapt our materials and our software, in this case the Access database I had, to new projects or to new studies we are conducting. So this is basically with a hat. In the database I collected information about authors, films, festivals and so on. And it was interesting that you could, through the clicking on the buttons, go through the circulation of specific films, like is the case here, through different festivals and so on. The second project I want to refer to today is a research project on the Basque Film Festival landscape. I am from the Basque Country in the north of Spain, so our aim was a little bit to make a cartography of all the events taking place in the region. So for this it was very relevant to take the idea of how to adapt the database tool and the possibilities it offered for research to our new project. So first of all, and related to this, it's important to say that here the transference was very important. So it was not only about collecting data for further on writing academic articles, but also to get some tools which could be useful for the industry and for Basque society as a whole. So for this I wanted to create this map as a real tool, as an available information for the public. So for this it was very important the reference of some other projects that have been working in similar fields. For example, Scotty Lois created through Google Maps this Queer Film Festival map, which is very interesting, also interactive, and also profiting from the infrastructure that Google Maps already offers. And the other example is Maria Paz Peirano's work on Chilean film festivals, and she also was able to create a website, also interactive and with an interactive map, in which you can choose the different festivals of the country, see their profiles, and gather all this basic information which is useful for the public further on our studies. So I wanted to do something similar. First of all, I also started doing this the Google Festival map, and it's in terms of practical terms is quite easy. It's just very easy to use, but we have a problem of resources because the project was very small. It's already over, but nevertheless we have many information that were unable to really make ready for the public. So one of this map was started but not finished, and the other aim was to do something more professional, which was the website we are seeing here, also taking the model of Chilean film festivals created by Maria Paz Peirano, and creating not only a website but also a search engine in which you could choose different profiles of the festivals, like short film, experimental film, animation film, or also the territory within the Basque Country and so on, and with that choose different festivals. This was aimed at both professionals and the general audience. And coming back to the challenges of this process, we had, of course, we could not use Access anymore, and we had to work in collaboration with a company, and this is really difficult, both in terms of funding, because there is not a regular rate, also because this is not a job they do, so you have to really negotiate and find a way to do something very tailor-made for your project. And we achieved it, but it was really difficult and I would say even lucky. And also in practical terms, it's very different the way you work with the data, because you go through the server, you organize the database, but in a different way, using other languages for which you need IT professionals and so on. So the process was very different. Here I cannot develop the database myself anymore, so you lose control as well. So these are basically some of the challenges I had in the process. So I don't know if you have seen the sci-fi series Person of Interest. So thinking about ideal tools or models we could have for storing all this data, I think of this series because they create kind of program in which they collect data of all persons of New York, if I'm not wrong, and with that they can advance their future behavior. So they have collected all the information of the people and they know what they will do and so on. In the same time, we are in the middle of these pandemics, and we see how they develop these apps in which they can really use all the possibilities of technology to really track people, which is actually what we do, track people, track social networks of professionals. And at the same time, as you see on the left, what we have is access model databases made by ourselves. So these are my main challenges. I know they are not easy to solve, but this would be our idea how, of course, we cannot use such tools as for COVID disease tracking, but maybe we could find some ways in the middle in order to really create possibilities for a better storage of all this data, which is collected through the way, but sometimes is lost. So just to conclude, of course we are very far away from having those fabulous tools which can track every single person in the industry and seeing what they do. And something I didn't mention, legal aspects of personal data collection are another chapter which I won't open here, but we have some tools, even though it's an access database quite from 10 years ago, that can serve us to start maybe new projects to store and to think about which kind of data we collect that maybe we are not using in a particular study or text or book we are writing at the moment, but maybe in the future can be useful both for the researcher who collected it or for other researchers. So I just wanted to open up this debate here and to see how other colleagues within film festival studies see this possibility and this, which problems they face regarding this collecting and storing of data. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the live event. So see you soon.